And joining me now with more is Holly Wade, Executive Director of NFIB Research. Holly, great to have you on the show this morning. And what was behind the surge in optimism?
Great, it's nice to be with you. So small business owners were certainly eager, looking forward to 2025 to have a more friendly environment for operating their business. It's been a difficult road over the last number of years. As you mentioned, the index has been below the 50-year historic average of optimism for 34 months. That's been a long time for small business owners to be working through some of these challenges, and they were looking for a significant shift in policy direction, policy focus that will best benefit them in operating their small businesses.
I want to talk more about the operations, Holly, the expectation among those surveyed in terms of where they see sales growth heading.
Certainly. So we saw a huge jump in the number of small business owners expecting sales to increase or improve over the next quarter. And along with that, we saw a decent number of those increase in planning capital expenditures in the next 6 months and also in hiring plans. So the expectation is that they will be able to retain more of their earnings to reinvest in their business. And they are, expecting that Congress and the new administration follow through on some of those promises related to extending those very helpful tax cuts that they were afforded in 2017 with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act, especially the 20% small business deduction, and then a regulatory environment that's more supportive of small business growth in the economy.
What does that mean for jobs and wages?
Sure. So for a lot of small business owners, about 1 in 5 are saying that labor quality is still their most difficult issue in operating their business. And compensation increases, those increased cost pressures in operating their business to retain and attract applicants for those very high levels of open positions are still a challenge for many, especially in those sectors including manufacturing and transportation, and construction. So those 3 industries, we've seen more small business owners than pretty much any other industry sector say that those labor issues, labor costs, labor retention and recruitment have been particularly challenging for them. And it seems to be continuing going through to the end of 2024.
What's the projection, Holly, in terms of how sentiment changes going forward? We saw, of course, the post-election surge in the stock market, and certainly that did seem to have an impact, as the data show, according to your report, on small businesses too.
So for small businesses, the expectation of not having those increases in business operation costs related to, possible increase in their taxes or regulatory compliance, and also the time required for compliance of new regulations coming on board. A lot of that is now, hopefully, or their expectation is, off the table, and they'll have more time to focus on their business, in expanding their business, in creating new opportunities for their business, focusing on their employees and attracting qualified applicants for, again, those historically high numbers still of job openings. So it frees up some time and money to reinvest and focus on their business, which is what they were in business for. That's, their main responsibility is operating their business. And they're looking for that shift in policy direction that will allow them to have an easier landscape to do that.
I want to hear more, Holly, about the time horizons, at which point these small business owners expect the landscape to change, clearly in a more favorable way for them, according to this report.
Absolutely. So one of the challenges is that those tax provisions that have been so helpful from TCJA, they expire at the end of 2025. So there is, 1 year, 12 months for Congress and the administration to extend, hopefully make permanent some of those provisions that have been most helpful for small business owners. So it's a pretty short time frame as far as DC is concerned in getting some major relief and major kind of certainty for small business owners in that they can then rely on their tax bill not going up, not increasing, the regulatory environment not producing more challenges for them as far as time and cost. So their expectations are that Congress and the administration get to it and move forward with those promises that will create a more favorable working environment for business owners.
Holly Wade, Executive Director of NFIB Research. Holly, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.